Oh my gosh, is that you or is that not you?
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, hi, how are you? I was a little worried because I was like, oh my gosh, is it going to take place or not? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am good. I was so worried. I even poured myself a little bit of wine.
Oh, I wish I would be able to join you. I would not mind a nice glass of wine right now.
But you're a very pro sport. So do you drink wine as well?
I do. You know, for me, like, I love working out. I love doing martial arts. I love all of that stuff. But yeah, I do, if it's a party atmosphere, I drink in moderation. So yeah, so, I'm not that strict on alcohol. I don't drink a lot. Just if it's a social setting or something like that. So,
Ah, I
so.
see. So I got a list of questions, and I would like to just start from the very beginning. How did your journey in the world of martial arts begin?
Oh, sure. Okay, so really, um, again, I was 4 years old. I was visiting my family in the Philippines, and my uncle took me to a movie, and it was a double feature. And the first one was a like some sort of science fiction movie. I don't actually remember. I just remember there's a giant crab in this movie. And then the second movie there's this guy and he walks into a Japanese karate school and he just starts wrecking shop. And that was the movie Fist of Fury or Chinese Connection, depending on where you saw it. That man was Bruce Lee, and that famous scene where he walked into the karate school and you know, he's tearing through this karate school. And I sat there with my jaw in my hands. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm watching. This is exactly what I want to do. And so from the time I was 4 years old, that was my jumping on point. Um,
Wow.
I bothered told my parents, oh, I want to do martial arts. I want to do martial arts. I want to do martial arts. And that went on for a couple of years, actually. And my parents, just ignored me or whatever, but I kept bothering them about that.
No.
And eventually they relented. They signed me up at a local martial arts school. And that's really, that's the starting point. But it was really being 4 years old, seeing Fist of Fury, seeing Bruce Lee, and just thinking, that really just changed my life.
Wow. And what kind of martial arts did you begin with?
So I started with kung fu. So uh, back, there, especially at that time period. So Bruce Lee was, enormously popular. It was during the 70s and the kung fu craze, and so there's a lot of kung fu schools opening up around in the U.S. and around the world. And a lot of it wasn't great kung fu. Some of it was like the karate or taekwondo or hapkido that servicemen learned overseas, and then kind of adapted to do kung fu because kung fu was a hot thing at the time. Uh, some of these schools were just people who watched a lot of movies and just kind of made up their own kung fu, really. And then there were some people from Hong Kong who were able to emigrate to the United States and open schools. But the very first schools that I went to, they were of the former. They were not there weren't great kung fu schools. Um, but eventually I did so I went through a couple of those schools and uh they're great for what they did, but it wasn't like really true traditional Chinese martial arts. And eventually I found a school whose the main teacher was from Hong Kong. Um he taught seven star praying mantis, and just walking into that school, that was you could just you just knew this is exactly what I was looking for. This was like true traditional Chinese martial arts, and that was another turning point in my life because at I joined that school, and then within 2 weeks of that time period, uh, it was me, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang's brother who played Donatello and was in WMAC Masters, Johnny Cage's brother who was Raiden, and then a couple other guys. That they were friends with Rich DeVigio or Kano, and that's real. So and this group has been together since then, since the 1980 or whatever.
Wow.
So and so that it's that's where they were training at another martial arts school before that, before they came to the Seven Star Praying Mantis school. But we all came there within like 1 or 2 weeks of each other. So and then that relationship, obviously, now, that was Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub Zero, Kano, all of
Ah!
that. Yes. So that was that genesis of Mortal Kombat. And so martial arts has been, just this is what my life is. And right now we're doing this interview, and I'm in my gym. I just finished teaching, and so it's like, oh, I got to jump on this. So
Awesome, awesome. But so actually, it was a group of friends, and how did you all become a part of Mortal Kombat? Who was the
oh,
first one who heard about the casting
oh,
or
so
whatever?
that's another story. So okay, so we're all friends, and then like Carlos and I think it was Carlos and Rich were friends with John Tobias. I think they all went to school together. Like they went to high school, and they went to the art school together.
Wow.
And then Danny also knew them. So like it was Danny, Carlos, Rich, and John Tobias. They're all friends, and they worked on John Tobias wanted to shoot a martial arts movie or something like that, and then that didn't happen. But eventually, John Tobias and then there are many different stories here. That whether he contacted Rich first or whether he contacted Danny first, whatever. But it was really John Tobias had this idea of a martial arts video game, or a fighting game that was heavily influenced by the kung fu movies of the time, the science fiction movies of the time. So it's very much um, influenced by, like I said, the Shaw Brother movies, like Jackie Chan, like the Five Deadly Venoms, stuff like that. Also influenced by like Big Trouble in Little China. Also influenced by, like some of the science fiction movies of the time. But anyway, I knew John Tobias, but I wasn't like really tight with him. It was really Danny, Rich, and Carlos who were really good friends with John Tobias. Like they used to draw together and all of that good stuff. And that's how Mortal Kombat came along. John Tobias approached those guys, and then he started filming Danny, with Johnny Cage and all of that good stuff. And then eventually, we were all brought on as various characters. But that's one of those things, while we're talking about this, it's so funny. And, you might want to touch upon this later, but, watching, or let's actually talk about that later. But that's exactly how all of that stuff came about. John Tobias, uh, John Tobias, Rich Savigio, Carlos Patina, and Danny Patina were all were really good friends at the time, and that was the genesis of Mortal Kombat.
Okay, so please don't forget that story because I'm really curious about it. You said that we're gonna
Sure,
get back to it later. So the
sure,
next question is, so you all got together in a studio in Chicago, and
correct.
and then what? Who did the choreography, and to what extent did John Tobias trust you guys as martial arts artists in making the moves?
Okay, so as there's the big story. Okay, so there's Mortal Kombat, and the legend goes that I was supposed to shoot the ninjas, the Scorpion, which would eventually become Scorpion and Sub Zero.
Oh.
I broke my foot like the day before filming, and so I couldn't do it. And so then Danny stepped in and did all the movements for Scorpion and Sub Zero. And I really think that that really worked out well. Like if I would have done Scorpion and Sub Zero, I'm sure it would have been fine. It would have been great or whatever. But let's face it, Scorpion is arguably the face of Mortal Kombat. And like a lot of the things that like the rope dart, get over here, like that movement uh is part of that there's a whole lore behind that. But one of the things is that Danny really loves to do rope dart. That's one of his weapons. And so, you know, Scorpion shoots out the rope dart, get over here, and does all of that stuff. If if I would have, then there's a whole story about like, Rich, Rich said something like, oh, you should say get over here or something like that. So all of that stuff. There's this whole legend and lore about that stuff, and it's all great. And this is all part of Mortal Kombat. Um, Me, if I would have done the ninjas or whatever, my main weapons, the weapons that I truly love practicing is like staff, broadsword, double broadsword, and so it would have been something different. It would have been, something like Scorpion, jumps up in the air and hits you with a staff and says, "Bah, I'm gonna hit you in the head with a staff." Something like that. And maybe it's not so catchy, and maybe the whole "get over here" doesn't happen. And again, all of those things, those movements that Danny brought to the table, it just fits within Scorpion. All of these things had to happen. All of these things, this is that lightning in a bottle. This is that magic. And without
Mhm.
Danny doing that, maybe it wouldn't have been so magical. Maybe if I would have done it, maybe it wouldn't have been so magical. And then maybe if I would have done that, maybe Kung Lao would have been played by somebody else, or maybe, and then you wouldn't have this this guy that is in equal parts Clint Eastwood and Michael Jackson, who just oozes of coolness because he's Kung Lao.
Yeah.
So all of these things had to happen, but so that's the lore. So by the time Mortal Kombat 2 came about, everything was pretty much set in place. They know how to film everything. They know, the procedure. But in
Mhm.
terms of that, you know, uh, let's say, they know at this point that, so all of Mortal Kombat 1, they had to figure that out. For Mortal Kombat 2, they already knew, okay, we need a low kick, a medium kick, a high kick. We need a high punch, like a high punch and a low punch. We need some sort of low attack and some sort of high attack. We're going to need a jumping kick and all of these. So all of the things John Tobias and Ed Boon knew what they wanted by the time I jumped in. But in terms of, again, this is one of those things that um, is again lightning in a bottle, and this is what, especially that first group of characters, this is the magic because John Tobias. He trained a little bit of martial arts with Danny Patina, but he's no let's not get anything twisted. He's no martial artist. And for someone like, especially someone like Kung Lao, I'm just going to talk about Kung Lao at this point.
Mhm.
Kung Lao is a Shaolin monk, and him and Liu Kang grew up in the temple. This is who they are, and so Hosung and I, we're training, in Chinese martial arts since we were kids. We trained with the same masters. We went to China. We trained in China together. We did so like that whole path with like Kung Lao and Liu Kang is the thing. It's hard to differentiate between the the art of Mortal Kombat and the lore of Liu Kang and Kung Lao and the true life of Hosung and I training together, pushing each other, training in China, competing, all of these type of things. And so those are all it's all intertwined. But anyway, John Tobias would ask, or okay, we need a high kick, a low kick, or whatever. but the style, and this is something that I think is lacking, especially with some of the, when they moved on to like other actors or even in a game, in some ways now. But then John Tobias said, okay, we need this. What can you do? And that was, again, just talking about like Kung Lao. He, you know, his whole life is, was in the temples. My whole life was training. And so I knew, oh, my style would fit exactly what John Tobias is looking for. Especially, when he's talking about, oh, he wanted wind type movements for Kung Lao. And I don't even think he knew exactly what he was talking about. But wind type movements, what exactly are you saying? But in Chun Chun or the long fist, the exact style that I was training at the time, that I was heavily training at the time, it's that particular style of Chinese martial arts really focuses on the energy coming from the center of your body and then moving out through the extremities. The energy moves from the center of the body through the extremities. And then you think about that kind of like a propeller or like a reverse windmill. So like for a propeller, it starts from the center and then the energy radiates out.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about, propellers, windmills, wind, reverse wind. Oh, this is exactly what John Tobias is looking for. This is, he wanted wind type movement. Long fist is exactly wind type movement because the energy is moving from the center of the body out to the extremity. And this is what I'm doing. And this is that magic. This is the magic of yeah, of that. And then going back, I'm just gonna babble here right now. But and I will always say this. So like Ho Sung and I, we trained together. We pushed each other so hard. We trained around the world. We competed against each other. We competed with each other. All of these things. And eventually, you know, I became a champion. But Ho Sung was really the greatest, American martial arts for, at that time, he was the greatest American martial arts competitor for a number of years. He is, and what is Liu Kang? Liu Kang is the champion of Mortal Kombat. And so that's why it's so hard to differentiate between Ho Sung, who's the greatest American martial arts champion of the time, and Liu Kang, who was, the Mortal Kombat champion. Kung Lao, who trained along with Liu Kang, was just as good as Liu Kang, and but was had his own thing. Danny, who loves martial arts, but who, let's face it, Danny Facina is a worldwide celebrity, just like Johnny Cage,
Yeah.
and even like Carlos Facina. Carlos Facina played Raiden, right? And how is Carlos Facina, you know, anything like an elder god or whatever? But Carlos Facina has uh, worked on Mortal Kombat, like from Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat, all the way through Mortal Kombat One, and he's had his hand in controlling Mortal Kombat, the evolution of Mortal Kombat, in some way, shape, or form, from Mortal Kombat to Mortal Kombat One. Just like Raiden has had his hand controlling Mortal Kombat in some way, shape, or form from the beginning. That's exactly who Raiden is. That's exactly who Carlos was. Rich Divizio. He he's just a normal guy who has a skill set, who's looking for a paycheck. This is exactly who Rich is. Just a regular guy. Just a regular guy. He has some skills, but like he's always worried about the next paycheck. Kano is a regular guy. Maybe he's a bad guy. Maybe he's a bad guy. But let's face it, if the Wuxi Academy was going to pay him, $1 million to come defend the temple, oh, Shang Tsung's only paying me $500,000. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Kano is just a guy looking for a paycheck. Rich is a guy looking for a pay. So then, all of us, it's again, John Tobias had these ideas. Okay, this is Kano. And then he showed us a picture, and he kind of, but it's that, you know, our characters and our characters and our lives are just so intertwined, especially with that first group. And then you start hiring other people, other actors, and for other roles or whatever. But you cannot argue that Liu Kang is Ho Sung. I am Kung Lao. Danny is Johnny Cage. You know, Carlos is Raiden. Rich
Super.
is Kano. Yeah, so that that's that intangible magic. And again, all of this stuff had to come together for us to be talking about Mortal Kombat for 35 years. But without that magic, and I'm not saying that's the only thing that brings Mortal Kombat. Obviously the gameplay, the story, everything about it had to happen the way it happened
Yep,
for us to be talking 35 years later. Let's face it. So,
that's
so
true.
that,
I so love how passionate you guys are, and that the whole game is actually the true story of you guys. I love it. I love it. But okay, let's talk about the costumes. Did you
okay.
see the way they came out?
Oh my God. Yeah. So, look at you. You you look awesome.
Thank you.
You look yes, and you know, we go around the world, and we're able to meet so many people who love Mortal Kombat, and their costumes are beautiful. They are beautiful. There's no question. They put so much time, work. Every detail is correct, and even when it varies, like when they add their own spin, you could see that. Oh, this is a beautiful work of art. I've yet to come across a cosplayer that I didn't think, oh my God, this is your own interpretation and it's beautiful. You could see the passion in it. I love all of that stuff. That was not the costumes for the original Mortal Kombat.
I've heard from Mr. Striker that it was really how should I mildly put it? Not a good quality.
Not good quality. Oh my God, it was crap. It was
I wanted to say that, but I Oh my gosh. Who
oh my
was
yeah. So it was crazy. Like a lot of that stuff was just you know like okay, especially for the first Mortal Kombat or whatever. Like Liu Kang were just like, oh, these are my pants, these are my shoes. I guess this is what I'm wearing. Same thing with Johnny Cage. Danny, those are his tights. That was his stash. Uh, the Raiden costume was just the regular karate uniform or
Yeah.
whatever, and a hat from Chinatown. And so Rich is also was just a karate uniform with the arms cut off and some belts put on there. Okay, so and then even Liz's costume was just her workout sweats, but then it's like, oh, but she's some sort of military. All right, fine, we'll use a green color
Yeah.
workout costume or whatever. Okay, but this is for Mortal Kombat, and so okay, maybe they had no idea how big this game would be or whatever. So okay, so even if you go along that line, okay, so we're gonna keep the budget really low. But okay, and then Mortal Kombat becomes this global phenomenon, and everyone around the world loved it. And now we're doing Mortal Kombat 2. So that it's already going to be, it's already the one of the biggest video games ever already at this point. So you know that Mortal Kombat 2 would at least be a very big video game. You don't know how big it's going to be, but you know it's going to be big.
Hmm.
But they never increased the budget for the costumes. Even though
No.
they know that we're dealing with $1 billion franchise already, the costumes were still, they're buying them from like Halloween costume stores or like even the Kung Lao suit. Somebody made it, and I don't want to bust on anyone's work or whatever, but it was so ill-fitting. It didn't, there's like safety pins holding it together. It was, it was the lowest, and then the shoes were my shoes, the shin guards were my shin guards. It was the lowest quality thing. Okay, like objectively speaking, the costume was the lowest quality that you could possibly imagine, especially for something that's already generated really literally hundreds of millions of dollars already at that time, because Mortal Kombat came out and we're on the home systems and all of this stuff. So it's already generated hundreds of millions of dollars. And but these costumes were so cheap. But but I gotta tell you, you know, I because of the first Mortal Kombat and because originally, oh yeah, you're supposed to be the ninjas. Oh, you're not going to do the ninjas. I'll shoot this, but you don't know. Even then, like they're Danny telling me, oh yeah, we're making a video game, and like in my mind, it's like, are you doing like Pac-Man or Space Invaders, something like something Donkey Kong? And so they're telling me they're doing a video game. It's like, oh, that's cool. You guys do the video game. And then, oh, I can't do it, then I don't care. I'm glad that you guys are having fun doing whatever. And then that video game becomes Mortal Kombat. And you see them all over. That the kid on MTV, Mortal Kombat, and you see, like, you go to the grocery store or to a magazine shop, and the Danny Dunn Time magazine. Everybody is on, like, Electronic Gaming Monthly. It's just you can't not see these guys everywhere. And so it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed my opportunity. And then Mortal Kombat 2 came along, and I was able to get in on that. And now I have I looked at the costume, and objectively speaking, it's the cheapest thing ever made. But this is my costume. I get to be part of the franchise. I get to be part of the legacy. And that just I was just so appreciative, because yes, now I also get to join I get to be part of the franchise, I get to be part of the legacy. I get to work on this thing with my Kung Fu brothers. I loved every second of it. Obviously, yeah, you look at it, oh, it's a cheap costume. I don't care. This is my introduction into the franchise of Mortal Kombat. I'm with my Kung Fu brothers, and I get to be another of the iconic characters. So I loved it. Yeah.
And I love your attitude. That's the way it should be. I mean, no matter how cheap it is, it came out beautiful, and it's really the classic. The first three parts are the classic. The
Oh,
what came out later is like, for me, I'm a huge admirer of the third part.
uh-huh.
Yeah. So whatever came further, I respect that, but I don't really like it, I should say. But still, I mean, with a lot of characters coming into the roster, different kinds of
Sure.
Boraicho and others, I'm still a huge admirer of the first three parts.
And yeah, I love that. Yeah, the Mortal Kombat has been going on for 35 years. There are, new fans, and maybe, some people like Baracho, some other people like, whoever, Sector, or, whatever the newest, Cassie Cage, whoever, which is fine. Yeah, I totally, yeah, like you said, I totally respect that. But there is something about, that magic in a bottle of the first three games, especially, and especially based off, again, you know, Danny's Johnny Cage, and Rich is Kano, Hosung is Liu Kang, and Carlos is Raiden. There's no separating those guys. And then, I think that's part of the magic. That's part of the magic of the
True,
original trilogy.
exactly.
So,
Now I know it too because I didn't know such details. Now I
oh
know
yeah.
that you guys are real Mortal Kombat heroes. Did you believe in the success of the Mortal Kombat game when you started shooting for it? Or,
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, it
yeah,
became
yeah.
really a phenomenon.
Right. So again, like during that first Mortal Kombat thing, they were shooting it, and Danny and Carlos and Ho would talk about it a little bit, but it was no big deal because nothing had happened yet.
Hmm.
And then even when I broke my foot and I was not able to participate, that's
Oh,
fine, because it's no big deal. It's like, oh, this is a project that they're working on. I'm glad that they're doing it, but it's no big deal. It's only after that first Mortal Kombat, like, oh my God, this thing is huge. And so then by the time Kung Lao came along, yes, I fully realized how big this thing. I didn't realize nobody could tell you that. Oh yeah, you know, 30, 35, or 33 years later for Mortal Kombat 2 or whatever that happened. I'll be talking to you, about this stuff. I didn't. Obviously, nobody knew that there'd be a Kung Lao behind you. Yeah.
right. You saw him.
Yes. So, nobody knew that, but I knew that it was going to be big for me, and that's what really burned me. Okay, imagine. Okay, there's you, and then you have your group of friends. The people that you grew up with, the people that you do everything with. Okay, and then there's you got to put yourself in this situation, and then there's a project that you're all going to do, but then you're not able to do it for whatever reason. And then that project becomes this global phenomenon. And so you love your group. It's like you're really happy that, oh, they're all world famous now and everything, and they're reaping the rewards. But you're sitting there, it's like, man, I want to be there.
Oh my gosh. But wait. The
Okay.
question right away. So what's the reason why you were not in the first part? Is the broken foot?
Yes. So,
Oh,
and like it's easy. Like even with a broken foot or whatever, you can get past that, and especially this is something that you have to do. But the cameras weren't that good, especially at the time, and so everything had to be done very slowly. And then with the broken foot, like you can't really. It's hard to balance on one foot. All of these things, you're limited to what you can actually do. And so, like, yeah, I can move. If I had to, I can move fast and kind of kick or whatever. But that wouldn't work for the filming process of the time. So yeah, so I broke my foot. I couldn't do what they were asking me to do, and I didn't care because who knows? It's just it's a project that they're working on, and that's great. I'm happy for them. I'll jump in on the next one. But that project being Mortal Kombat, that's really burned. But yeah,
wow.
that's the reason. So
Wow. Okay, otherwise we would have you in the first part as well.
right. But again, I can't stress this enough. If I would have been in there, I would have been playing the ninjas, and then the ninjas would have been different, and
Exactly.
and then maybe the ninjas wouldn't be as iconic, and so everything just worked out the way it had to work out. I love being Kung Lao. Kung Lao again, just the same thing. It's so hard to separate the real life person from the fictional character because there's so many of the same beats or whatever. But I love being Kung Lao. Kung Lao is me. It's the same thing. So I'm totally happy that it worked out the way it did.
Oh, thank you so
All right,
much.
and
Thank you. It
and
just
we're
worked.
back.
Yes, we're back on. Okay, so as we have just 10 minutes left,
Yeah.
I was actually hoping that you would be home and show us all your attributes, like the hat and the
Sorry.
toy. But anyway, I am so amazed that you're such a versatile person. You do the martial arts, you write a book, you sing. We'll get to that later. But I'd like really to hear about the book. I mean, I looked up on internet. I wanted to buy it, but it's not
Uh-huh.
here on time. But
Oh.
I read quite a lot about it, and I've
Uh.
heard your own voice by
Oh yes.
narrating.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, tell us about
The
that.
book. Oh, so it's one of those things where, okay, in all honesty, um, this is how it came about. Um, there's a couple of guys that were training with me. Okay, um, they trained with me for a couple of years or whatever, and then one night, uh, we're out, and we're out, having drinks, just having a good time or whatever, and somehow they asked me about my background, or it's like I started talking about Mortal Kombat, Ninja Turtles, competition, all of these type of things or whatever. And one of the guys there, who I really respect a lot, said, oh my God, this is so fascinating. You should write a book. So it just became that. It just became somebody said, oh, you should write a book. And then so, okay, oh, and I'm drinking. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna write a book. That's a good idea. And so, you say things when when you're drinking, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But then, but then I was thinking, okay, I just told that guy I will write a book, and there are, if he finds it interesting, maybe other people will find it interesting or whatever. And then, so I started writing, okay, I'll start working on this. And so I started writing the book, but it was going, it was a slow process or whatever. And then COVID happened. And so then, nobody could do anything, couldn't come to the gym, couldn't do this, couldn't do that or whatever. And I did not want to, okay, I have some free time now, just like everybody else had some free time because nobody could do anything. Let's get back to this book. I said, and this is one of those things about me too, I said I would do it. And then it's, how can, there are interesting, some people might find these stories interesting if they're Mortal Kombat fans or Ninja Turtle fans or martial arts fans or whatever. But even beyond that, I'm nothing special. I get this. I'm nothing special, but what I do offer is that I
Not true.
I I don't give up. I don't, if there's something that I want, if there's something that speaks to me, I'm not the person to say, "Oh man, I wish I would have done this. If only that could have happened. If only, if only, if only." Oh, I really wish. It's like if I want something to happen, I will, research it. I will learn about it. I will practice it. I will get better at it. I will force things to happen. Just like even like if you read the book or listen to the other book, it was something as simple as getting, and not simple, but Mortal Kombat happened, and then oh my God, I need to get into the next Mortal Kombat or whatever, and then Danny tells me, and I don't know if he was joking or not or whatever, but because Danny does this to me all the time. Uh, he's telling me, oh, oh, John Tobias doesn't want you in Mortal Kombat 2 because he thinks you're too skinny. He's like, give me 4 weeks, give me 4 weeks, and then get John Tobias to the gym. I will show him that I am the person that he needs in Mortal Kombat. And so uh, for the next month or whatever, I really focused heavily on my weightlifting. I made sure my martial arts was on point. I made sure that when John Tobias came to the gym, and we knew each other already or whatever, but when John Tobias came to the gym, there's nothing that was going to stop me from showing him that this is the whoever character you want to cast me as, this is who you need in Mortal Kombat. It's not one of those, oh, I wish I could have been in Mortal Kombat. Oh, I missed my opportunity in Mortal Kombat. I wish. If only I didn't bring my foot. I have no time for stuff like that. It is very much if you want something, you have to, no matter what, no matter if you're, and I get it. Now I'm just babbling, but there's racism, there's sexism, there's always going to be things and people holding you down, but you can't accept that other people, other things that are going to be able to control your life. You're in control. You do what you have to do, and you make things as best as you possibly can. And this is how I always live my life. And so if I could turn my stories into something like that, and if somebody could read, you know, just be a little bit inspired. Oh, Tony did this, and he's nothing special. He's just like me. I, I can push myself to get what I want. Whatever it happens to be, whatever it happens to be. That oh, I want a promotion at my job. I want to I want to start singing. I want to, I wish I could paint, but oh, I'm no good of an artist. So you never even try. You never even take lessons. You never push yourself. And this is one of those other things. Everyone is going to suck in the beginning. There's just no getting around that. Get used to the idea of being bad in the beginning. And no matter what, you will become better if you put in the time. And so that this is my life in a nutshell. This is my mentality in a nutshell. You'll suck, so what? You'll get embarrassed. I embarrass myself even to this day. I embarrass myself in public every day. But through that, every once in a while, something comes out that people might, oh, you know what, that's interesting. Oh, you know what, maybe I can make that work for me. And so it is what it is.
I love hearing that. I think people of now are missing that attitude, really. There are a lot of excuses like, oh, I'm not good at it, and that's like stuff like that. But that is such a correct attitude. You have to just try it. And if you fail and you don't like it, then you just leave it. And otherwise, you will
Yeah,
regret not doing it.
oh my God, yes, yes. Yeah, if you put in the work and then you realize, oh, you know what, this isn't really what I was looking for. Maybe it's something else. But you have to put in that work to find out. You can't just oh, I wish, I wish, I wish. I have no time for that. And I feel badly for people who do that because they never get that chance to experience, the what could be successful, or even, oh, this is the total failure. Fine, then switch direction. That's fine. But you have to put the work in to find out that, oh, this doesn't work, or this, oh, I can make this work if I do it like this. So you're absolutely right. You are.
Bravo. Bravo, Anthony. Um, I have this question. I'm just trying to speed up to get
Sure.
as many questions covered. Um, did you have any funny bloopers with the fans or some kind of funny encounters at the Comic Cons that you can
No,
think of?
um I never make mistakes, and I'm always perfect.
Ooh.
No, no, no. Oh, no, like especially at the, oh my God, the every Comic Con, every fan convention, and uh, okay, like in all honesty, I I I don't like using, for me personally, I don't like using the term fan. I understand that there are fans of the game. I understand that there are
Mm-hmm.
fans of the game of Mortal Kombat or the movie or whatever it is, fans of Mortal Kombat. But in terms of people, I think we're all part of the same community. I don't think, whether we're actors, whether we're, the people that play the games or whatever, we're all part of the same thing. And like this is just my own hang up. Like I don't like, you know, and I take the, like we, the game, the games don't exist without the people who like playing them, who love everything about it. The games don't exist without, Ed and John Tobias, creating the game. The games don't exist without the actors pouring their souls into these characters. So we're all part of the same community. We're all part of this. So I don't like, oh, that guy's a fan of mine. I don't like,
Thank
that
you.
makes me uncomfortable. It's like we exist together. We need each other. All of us need each other. And that really, again, the world is that. I think, we all need each other. We all look different. We all act different. We're all different. But ultimately, we we learn from each other. We gain, knowledge from each other, and so we all need each other. So I wish we
Thank
could all
you.
just get along. Really.
I wish we were at the same city and hang out sometimes.
Oh my God, yes. With a glass of red wine, just trying to solve life's problems. I would love that. That would be so awesome. Yes, and
Yeah.
yes, yeah, any type of reds. I typically drift towards the reds. So.
Okay, now I know what I will give you if I ever get to meet you.
Oh, yes, we will sit there with a glass of wine, maybe some cheese, and we'll talk about life. I would
Yes.
love that. That would be so. Oh, I would love that so much.
And we're gonna sing Ray of Light.
Yes. Oh, oh,
I love that song. I'm sorry, but
oh,
I love
thank
it.
you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Let's sing it at the end, okay? I really love it. Well, next question. So you told us about what you like to drink,
Yeah.
but what do you like to eat?
Oh, I like all food. Like especially the American diet is, no, I
Hamburgers.
like, yeah, I like, I like that stuff. I like hamburgers. I like hot dogs. I like pizza. And then, I like tacos or whatever. I really do like, Asian food a lot, like whether it's Chinese or Korean, Japanese or whatever. So, I like to eat. Yeah, I like all foods. I try not to. I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I don't eat a lot during the day.
Hmm.
I have unless I'm traveling or whatever, it is pretty not restrictive, but I hardly eat anything during the day, and then for me at night, there's like a 4 hour window where I'm just grazing. But I work out a lot too. I'm constantly in motion, and so that's how I stay you know the way I look or whatever. But I love pizza, I love pasta, I love spaghetti, I love tacos, I love steaks, I love seafood, you name it. Well, how about you?
Okay.
What are some of your favorite foods?
Everything you named, I like a lot. I really love Chinese food.
Oh,
And I'm
sure.
originally from Kazakhstan, so I like Kazakh food as
Oh,
well. Which,
I've never, so we have Kazakhstan, where people from Kazakhstan, they also love like mixed martial arts. So, they love kung fu, they love martial arts, and they love mixed martial arts. So we always have groups of people from Kazakhstan here. I think but they're
oh,
awesome people. But I've never actually had any food from Kazakhstan. What would that food be like?
that includes mostly a lot of dough and meat in all of
Okay,
kinds of variations, like meat wrapped in dough, or just like lasagna,
okay.
things with meat on it. But so you have met Kazakh people and they never treated you
No,
for Kazakh
yeah,
food.
so yeah, so yeah, they're in the gym, but yeah, I've never actually had any food from Kazakhstan. So,
I would
uh,
fatality those people who didn't do that.
but they're great people. Uh, yeah, yeah, I think they're great.
I am
So.
jealous of them that they met you.
Yeah, no, we always have groups of those guys just training in the gym because there's uh you guys love martial arts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We're also Asians. We have it in
Yes,
our
right,
blood,
right,
I
right,
think.
right, 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 right.
Okay, what did you think about the 2021 movie?
Mm. I liked the first 10 minutes of it. I thought that was great.
I know what you mean.
And okay, here. So yeah, I do need to wrap this up, but that's what I'm getting to. Like for Mortal Kombat 2. Like okay, here, let me I like the first 10 minutes. I'm a big fan of Max Huang,
Max
the guy
Wang,
who
yeah.
plays
Kung
Kung
Lao.
Lao in the movie. As he got done dirty again. But that's the thing. And this is one of those things. This is so true of Kung Lao and myself or whatever. You know, again, just like coming through the fire, you can knock us down, but we will not die, and we're coming through the fire on the other side. It's always just about getting back up. Every time they do Kung Lao dirty in whatever version, but Kung Lao is back in Mortal Kombat too. You
Yep.
can't keep him down. He'll always come back because he doesn't give up. This is what, and again, who are we talking about? Kung Lao? Are we talking about me? I don't know yet. So this is that same thing. But that's like you saw the trailer with the
Yes.
Johnny Cage trailer with Carl Urban or whatever, and I find that so hilarious that again, with like three movements or whatever, Johnny Cage, like going back to the original video game, Johnny Cage doing this, Johnny
Yes.
Cage putting on his, you get the idea of who Johnny Cage is, and that again, John Tobias is telling Danny, yeah, Johnny Cage is a world famous actor or whatever, like he's trying to flesh out that character, but this is that attitude that Danny brings to Johnny Cage, and so just doing this, and putting on the glasses and standing,
Yeah.
these with these very simple movements, Danny's personality is able to fill the Johnny Cage persona. And then you go 35 years later and you're watching Carl Urban or Carl Urban doing Johnny Cage and he's just doing this with the
Yeah,
glasses,
yeah, yeah.
let's just fight, all of that stuff is just based off of like Danny, and that's I couldn't. I'm dying because like I know Danny, and I know that that's Danny's personality. I loved it because you can't separate Danny from Johnny Cage, and when Carl Urban is playing Johnny Cage, he's essentially playing Danny Pacina. And so
Exactly.
I loved it because yes, it's like 35 years later, and Carl Urban is one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, yappity yappity yap, and he's pretending to be my pal. He's pretending to be my pal, Danny Pacina. I loved it,
I loved
but
it
I'm
too.
yeah, but it's just like everything about that his attitude and all of that good stuff. I love that. I wish they would have went that route, the first time. I don't know why they waited for the second movie to actually introduce Johnny Cage. I don't know. So
Yeah, they were kind of like building up the plot, but
yes,
yeah, I know what you mean. Oops. I mean, I, I'm not really happy with casting of Carl. I don't think he really fits in, but I mean, we'll give him a chance.
right. Let's give him a chance. But yeah, I totally Carl is of a certain age. Let's just say it that way, and so you don't have a lot of runway to go. If you're doing like let's say this is a success or whatever, and then you do Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 4, and then Carl Urban would be, almost 70 years old. He could be almost aged out of Johnny Cage for
They
sure
could
by
as
that
well
point.
take Danny for the role then,
Yeah, if you're gonna go that route, just take
right?
Danny, right? Or get a younger person, and so now you have space to do some sequels, right? With Carl, maybe you don't have that much space at this point. So
There are two, three films coming up because they signed a couple of actors for two, three more movies.
but now if you're doing like two or three more movies or whatever, each movie takes a couple of years or whatever. Yeah,
Yep.
now now I don't know about it. I don't know. I'm in total agreement with you. But just seeing him act or whatever, just seeing him play out the Johnny Cage character, and even before like Ashton Lindsay or whatever, all of that stuff is Danny. I love it. I love but this one was so much. Oh yeah, that's Danny Pacino.
Yeah. Yeah. True. But I actually have to say that Max Wan, he did a great job because one of the highlights of the first movie that I loved was Kung
uh
Lao because he was so spot on.
yeah,
And it was a great fan service to us all and to you as well, I think. A great representation of Kung Lao.
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. Yeah. Again, yeah. He also does wushu. He does like for me, I do like northern Chinese martial arts, and he does. I think he does mostly southern Chinese martial arts, but his martial arts is great, and he's part of the Jackie Chan
Ah.
stunt team, and so yeah, he's great, and so I looked at him.
Ah.
It's like, oh, this is and he here, one more thing, and then I really got to go. But it is very much like he had that, He sings. He had the flawless victory out, and then Paulo Montalban, the guy who did Kung Lao in the TV show, Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yeah, yeah.
He sings, and even I bet you Mark Dacascos, the writer, right?
Yeah.
He was Kung Lao in the web series. I know that guy sings. We all need to get together and do like a
Wow.
song together. That would be awesome because I know all of these guys sing, and that's part of the thing that you have to be if you're gonna play Kung Lao. You have to be able to. You have to love singing.
That's amazing. I didn't know they do.
Yes.
Wow, you really
So
should get together and sing. Wow. You know what? I actually met Mark Dacascos when he was shooting the movie in Kazakhstan. So I met him. I came up to him and I asked for a autograph. Back then we didn't have the smartphones with the cameras,
sure.
but he was so nice.
Yeah.
He's really nice. So I think
Yes.
he would be open to singing.
Yeah, and all of us, it's like, yeah, I think it'll just be so much fun. It'll be so much fun. Like they have the Kung Lao just said,
Yeah.
we'll come up with a song and sing a song.
Yeah, I have two more questions. If you
Okay,
could give
quickly,
us
quick.
the starter skin, you know how you do
Oh,
the
which
version.
one?
Yeah, you do such
What?
hands, like.
Yeah. Hang on. So it's this, right?
Yes,
You see
yes,
that?
yes, yes. And another thing, I had an interview with Chris Casamassa, and when I asked him if he can sing, he said, "I cannot sing." So I know you can sing, and I would like to
Oh
ask you just
no,
one question.
sure.
Keep shining through. You've got those
Oh
beautiful
my god!
eyes that make me
Oh my
smile.
god!
Let's sing
Oh
it
my
together.
god! Oh, that was beautiful.
Let's
No,
sing
we're
it
gonna have to
together.
do we're gonna have to do that one on our next interview. But
Okay.
that was beautiful. Oh my god, that was beautiful.
I love
Thank
that
you so
song.
much. Oh my god. Oh,
Thank you for the
thank
beautiful
you.
song.
Thank you so much.
No,
Oh my
I
god.
thank you really. I love that song.
Oh, oh my
Okay,
god.
I'm
You
so
you ma- you made my day. You made my day. Oh my god.
yes.
Thank you. Oh my
You're
god.
such a delight, Anthony. You are such a great
Oh,
person. I love it.
thank you. Thank you. All right, yeah, I really do have to fly.
Yes, yes.
But let's plan on part two sometime. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I am crying. My eyes are sweating.
No, no, no. Kung Lao doesn't cry. Us.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much,
for
but
your time.
thank
Thank
you
you.
for the Shaolin. Us.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Bye
okay.
bye.
Bye bye.